Hey everybody, welcome back to Valhalla Verdict. I'm Conspiracy and this is AJ, and we're going to be rolling into pretty much what happened in the past 2 weeks. So we missed last week, of course, because we were a little busy. But we're going to be going over what happened in the Royale, and we're going to be going over Tournament Weekend, which just happened, and we're going to try to do it as quickly and concise as possible.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, there's been a lot of things that happened with the Royale, a lot of things that have been happening in the community events as well. And I mean, we're going to touch on them very briefly, but just make sure you guys are all up to date. And the first thing that we're going to talk about is the Spring Royale, which surprised a lot of people in different aspects as well.
Yeah, so if you look at what's right here, it's a jumble of mess, but we'll scroll down a little bit and we'll check out what actually happened during the Royale, which it looks like for our 5 players that qualified into the top 6 was Lorez, Godly, Kaina, Sandstorm, and Skeldra, which is, I mean, respectable. That looks like the people that would typically be jumping in there, including Skeldra, which is a really awesome throw into the hat. Skeldra is the one who ended up making it. But, of course, there's only 5 people here for top 6, which means that they had to have a redemption bracket to see who was going to take that 6th slot. Now, if we scroll down here, we're going to see that Java and Wes got 11th and 12th, which means that they're out. They were out at this point. So the next people that were still in here, which is Radish, Monir, Yuz, Knees, and Guichabo, still had a chance at running at the redemption. So if we roll over to the next tab, we're going to see that Monir beat Radish 3-1, and then Monir beat Yuz 3-1. And we can just keep going to the second redemption, which was Monir beating Knees and Gui beating Monir. So Gui ended up finally taking that spot into the top 6.
Well, and Monir went on a rampage that a lot of people didn't expect. Like when I was looking at, when we were making our tier list, I wasn't expecting Monir to do that well. And then going into that second day on the redemption bracket, just popped off being some of the best players. And, you know, went to game 5 against Guichabo. And Guichabo is one of those top NA players. And you know, Guichabo had the upper hand with the Linfei, and I think is used to facing that Teros in that Petra from facing Radish a little bit too. So they are very well equipped to face against Monir, but went into top 6.
Yep. So we roll past the top 6, which was the end of the weekend, and of course we had some amazing players. We had Lorez, Sandstorm, Godly, Kaina, and then Skeldra and Guichabo.
Yeah.
These were the actors that we knew, you know, were going to happen, except for Gui the previous day. And the bracket went crazy. I mean, Godly 3-1 Sandstorm in loser side, and then Lorez 3-0'd Godly. Went up to get 3-0'd by Kaina, which is just insane. Lorez getting 3-0'd by Kaina in winner's final to then once again get 3-0'd by Kaina in grand. So it looks like Lorez just couldn't touch Kaina, really. But I mean, it's pretty crazy. This was definitely an awesome Royale to watch too. Watching it live, there was some really cool stuff happening during the round robin day. And if you guys don't know how round robin works, it basically means that every single player plays against each other. So everybody has one game against each other. That's what this giant graph is for, to make sure that every single player actually has a game against them. And you guys can check out the link in the description and see exactly how everybody went up against each other. And you can see, like, for example, Wes went against Sandstorm, and Sandstorm beat him 2-3. So like these are pretty much all of the games that happened for them to figure out where they all got placed. But either way, that was pretty much the Spring Royale.
Yeah, and I mean, we saw some, you know, interesting matches as well. Skeldra in the round robin being some of the best players in all the regions. You know, I think didn't they beat Sandstorm, Godly, and Yuz, if I recall?
Yeah, Skeldra had an insane run during the round robin. And some of the players that I thought were going to do amazing too, it was like Wes. I thought Wes was going to top 4, and he completely lost. So there was some crazy stuff going on. I think if we had our predictions up here from a couple weeks ago, and we had talked about it, and it looks like, what did AJ? You said Godly, Sandstorm, Yuz, and Lorez getting top 4, and it looks like you were correct about Lorez. I don't know about Sandstorm though. Did he get top 4?
He did. He got top 4, but Yuz got knocked out in the redemption bracket.
He did.
So that makes sense. Guichabo and Skeldra, though, I said top 6. They got top 6.
They did get top 6.
Kind of, I had him as top 8. I mean, he blew my proportions out of the water. I thought Radish and West were going to be pretty high. Radish was up there, but then, you know, Monier swapped out that spot with Wes for the most part.
And I was pretty close with mine because I had Wes, Kinda, Godly, and Lores in my top. Unfortunately, my first placer went to 12th, but that's okay. But Kinda, Godly, and Lores being in top 4, and then 5th place for Sandstorm. If I just wouldn't have put Wes as first, I would have actually pretty much had top 4 in my predictions.
Yeah, 100%.
So I was pretty freaking close.
Yeah.
But no, this whole event was really cool.
Yeah, and with that being said, that was the Royale. I mean, everyone's basically now playing in community events to practice. And after the Royale, I believe it was next weekend, right? Mm-hmm. There was a series of community events for tier 1s that all happened on the same weekend. You got Frostbyte, you got MooseWars the highest, you got Brawl League, and of course, some other
Galaxy Cup and SEA, yeah. So we had a massive community tournament weekend that just happened. So we're just going to briefly go over everybody's. But my event, which was the Frostbyte number 3, it was NA 1v1s. We had Anonymous Alex taking the win here. We also had some other cool people like Shade. We had Whale Pro, Clenching Hook, whoever that is. I love community tournaments for that, by the way. Yeah, whoever Clenching Hook 1 is just, I'm so happy to see that guy in top 8. Like some crazy players who just aren't PR'd going crazy in community tournaments and taking their chance for the bread.
I got to see who he beat though, because that was... he did pretty well to get in the top 8 too.
Oh yeah,
I just got to see. Oh, there were some good people in here too.
Yeah, we had some good players in this event.
And Mr. Boy there being Wrench is a big deal. I don't know a whole lot about them, but now I know them, and I think what we're going to see from that player going forward in the next 6 or 8 months, we might see them. If they're going to be consistent, we're going to see them more often in a top 16. Top 8 situation. Those are the players that I keep an eye on because a lot of times they will pop off.
Yep, it's always the players that you've never heard of in a community tournament starting to go crazy. Like that's exactly what Gui and Anonymous Alex and Truck Stop, like those kind of players, they have grown because of community tournaments and just getting top 8 over and over in communities and then finally reaching that threshold when it came to a major. Because this was such an awesome tourney. I mean, Balloon Boy taking out Monty, Anime beating Bunny, like some really good players in MooseWars the other day. Like that was an amazing tournament. So yeah, Anonymous taking 2 tourneys over the weekend. Congrats to him, man. He's popping off.
Well, and that's gonna be, Greach, we just got back from Royale and got 6th.
Yep.
This is a big deal for North America because he's going as far as where he go.
Yeah.
So he's gonna be at least in ones a very much of a powerhouse for North America. Balloon Boy might be going now. I don't know. It depends on when he gets his passport. But you have Anime going forward, being Radish, Bunny, and then going against Balloon Boy in the game number 5 is a pretty big deal. And Monty Holly getting his getting his top 8 in MooseWars with Jayoon, and it's a lot of very big players. And there's some players that got knocked out early. Balloon Boy 3-0 Java to get in the top 8.
Yeah.
That was a big deal.
It was actually, let's see, Gui beating Anime, Monty just barely beating NRG Raid, Bunny beating Meg D 3-1, Anonymous Alex beating Java 3-2. And it's crazy because Anonymous Alex is beating players who were at the Royale.
Yeah. Just
a couple, just not too far ago. Like it was, Alex is up, dude. Alex is up. He's gonna have a crazy turn of events. But with this event, he also AJ ran a 2v2 event, which was the Sacred Uprising. So we had 1v1 and 2v2. So we'll look over the 2v2 bracket as well that happened, and it looks like we had a W from Zen and Experience, which is not too unheard of.
Yeah, like when you're looking at top 2 for this event, Zen and Experience, Fakey Java kind of set that premise in North America. That's just where we're at. You have Balloon Boy Hideaway do well, but then I think Balloon Boy against Java is a very big mental thing because originally, Balloon Boy wasn't able to beat Java. And I think this is the first event going before the 1v1 event. So with them teaming with Hideaway, which Hideaway has not been playing, he's been playing some Roblox game on the side and not having that practice as much as Java and Fakey have been, is a big deal, But you also see teams like Flower and Brawlhalla do very well. You see Hybrid and MooseWars do very well. And I got to give props to Hybrid and MooseWars. They're doing very well. I hope they stay consistent.
And Marky Moo.
Super Bubble went from Winterside.
Yeah, they came from Winterside too, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Super Y is Future Bubble?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, they always like changing their names. But yeah, that's a good team to head on to top 8 in Winterside too. And it looks like they lost 2 games in a row as soon as they hit top 8, which, you know, they go against some insane teams. Who was Truckstop with? It was
Hyzo.
and Hyzo, yep.
Yeah. And they're double lance. You know, they play this style so well that a lot of people are not adjusted to it. You know, it's so much range that they have control of. It's hard to counter it. You need to be aggressive against that play style. And you know, Future Bubble Marky Moo did it to Game 5, but then Truckstop and Hyzo just went into Game 5 winning. So
that's super cool. Truckstop and Hyzo beating Megdi and Radish, that's also huge.
Yeah.
And Guichabo and Snipes.
They did really well.
They teamed?
They did for the first time, and they killed it. And I remember bringing up on stream that they're a very good team to keep an eye on. They're not on the top 8 level yet, but that was their first event teaming.
Yeah.
And for them to go Game 5 against Zen Experience is huge.
That's actually really cool because Snipes is a big twos grinder and is always trying to find a good teammate. But him being with Gui is awesome. So that was a really cool event, man. But since we have completed our run with North America, we're going to roll over to the highest, which is South America.
Yeah.
They ran an event on the 27th, it looks like, and Use won.
Yes,
Which is typical. Use loves winning tournaments. But we had Use, Sack, Lores, West, Vemdekilo, Thamp, Reaper Black, and Power. And this is awesome because you're seeing like a lot of the same players in South America actually reaching top 8, even in community tournaments. And Power making it up here is cool too. Power hasn't made it into top 8 yet, really. Have they? Maybe they have.
They're known for it in the past, but they haven't done it recently. So
they've been grinding, I think.
Yeah, they've been doing well, and you know, for them to beat Lores and then Wes is pretty big deal. I mean, they win the grand finals, got 3-0 by Use, but this is kind of showing it comes down to a mental game.
Yep.
You know, you never know until the event. You know, you can predict all you want, but then you see random stuff like Use coming in, winning in this event.
Yeah.
When he got what
3-0ing his whole way through winner's side top 8.
Which is crazy.
3-0ing Sack, 3-0ing West, and then 3-0ing Power.
Did he? He didn't ever face Lores, did he? I don't think he did.
I don't think so, because Laura's never reached that side of the bracket.
And I think that also has to do with...
He 3-0'd Vemdekilo. Oh my god, hang on. Did he 3-0 his whole way through this tournament?
I think he did, yeah.
Hang on.
Yeah, he did.
2-0, 2-0, 2. Use did not lose a single game in this tournament. He didn't lose a game. Not a set, a game.
I think maybe this might be the opportunity that you know, Use was kind of looking for. Like, you saw what happened at the Royale. He's not happy that he didn't do very well at all. So he came back and just destroyed.
He's just destroying, man.
But he did face Lores, though, so I really can't say where he's at. He beat West, he beat Sack, he beat Power, but no, you know, Sack and Power never went to the Royale, and West got 12th.
Yeah.
You know, so that's something I got to keep an eye on. But congrats to Use. Congrats to Power.
Not losing a single game yet, and Power getting in top 2. That's really cool.
But no, that was a very good event though, and I mean, South America has some really good events overall, and that also led into Brawltalha that happened as well for South America, which is ran by Estacao. And you know, they had 149 double teams, which is good. So you know, you have some major teams, and you know, Lores had kind of won that. Wes and them are doing really good.
They took their way all the way to the winners final and then fell down to beat Fiend and Use and then go up and take it to the grand final reset, but then they lost on game 5. So that is rough, man. It was probably some really close games. I didn't watch that event. I might actually go watch that grand finals, honestly, because that sounds like super entertaining. Like seeing their run there. But I mean, we had Kaito Kant, Mac and Hipper 7, Rec and News. Those are some, I mean, Kaito and Kant I've seen before, but Mac and Hipper and Rec and News are some interesting teams I haven't really seen before. And Mac and Hipper beating Kaito and Kant, which is really interesting.
I think South America is at this point where they have a very good pool of players, and then they have a really small group of players that are on like the superior side of the world.
Yeah.
Right? You know, you have a lot of really good South American players, but most of the other South American players are good, but they're not at that level yet. Because we're seeing, you know, these double teams like go crazy, like Wes and them, literally destroying the person that went all the way through bracket and then going back into grands.
Yeah.
So it's
to just win grands and then barely not be able to take the reset in game 5.
So, but no, that was good.
It was close though.
Yeah, there's a couple teams. I mean, Nuez we've seen a little bit before. I know we're actually seeing him on a LAN broadcast as well. But yeah, I mean, we'll see if there's gonna be more of that. But you know, we also had Europe happen as well, and for Europe we had the Maelstrom event hosted by Brawl League, and they had about 151 teams sign up or play through the event.
This is such a cool one. Okay, so look, Blaze and Godly versus Jakey and Saphir in winner's semifinal.
Wow.
3-1. So Blaze and Godly go down to losers. Whoa, where'd they run down to? They went to losers quarterfinal. They beat Marker and Razox. Game 5, by the way. Game 5 for Marker and Razox. Then to beat Acno and Knees 3-0. Then to beat Sarme and S-Grape 3-1. To then go and 3-0 Jakey and Saphir. And then Jakey and Saphir said, nah. This isn't how it goes. And they got 3-1. So Jakey and Saphir actually taking an event over Blaze and Godly, which is so sick. I love seeing, okay, so it was a huge thing with Sandstorm, right? When Sandstorm was the best player, everyone was just begging for him to lose because they wanted to root for the underdog. That's kind of my mentality these days with Godly, because I love seeing people beat Godly because nobody's on his level. Like, he's just the best player in EU. So when you see a team like Jakey and Saphir beating Blaze and Godly, that is awesome.
I gotta bring up Hanabi and 7DLA in losers round 1.
Yeah.
They are a cross-region team.
Oh,
They've
really?
played MooseWars and they've gotten top 16. In Europe, they just got top 8. So that's
Hanabi,
a crazy.
7DLA is
Hanabi's in Mexico, I think.
Oh, so they're USE servers.
Well, they're US East, I believe, or West, and 7DLA is in Europe, if I recall. And they're getting top 8, top 16 in both flipping regions.
Dude.
You know, so that's huge.
That is insane.
Marker and Razox doing well. I love the team of Sarme and S-Grape. I hope they come to CEO. I love those guys to death. You know, and then also a team of Monley and Hachich. I don't know who that is, but that's a brand new team.
Monley and Hachich.
I don't know. You'll have to tell us in the comments there how to spell it.
Yeah, no, but that one's interesting. I mean, I wonder if they beat anybody notable in top 16.
They had to have, because that was a really, really good.
Looks like they took out
Marlene
and Philip and FXL, but FXL doesn't. FXL's lagging. He's in the Middle East. Still sticking around in EU. We had one more event, which was the Galaxy Cup Halo. And we have a 1v1 event. I think we're done with 2v2. We're only doing 1v1s for the rest of this. But we had Heartbleed take this, and that's actually super wild. We had Farazu, Heartbleed, S-Grape, Rain, Kugo, Shadra, Sage, and Sarme. It looks like a lot of really notable players didn't play.
Godly Skeldra didn't play.
Yeah, I mean, we had S-Grape and Rain and Sarme. Those are like the biggest names I know on there, and Frazu. You know, your top winners, your winner's side semifinal is solid, but Heartbleed beating Rain, I was expecting, like, after looking at this, I'm like, okay, Rain wins. But I'm sure Rain was probably seeded first in this tourney. It looks like Rain is like one of the community tourney grinders, kind of like Guichivo is in NA. Or like Truck Stop, or like that kind of group. Is like they're in every community tournament trying to win every single one of them. But yeah, this is an interesting event.
I'm glad to see Sarme doing well though, because I brought it up last episode where Sarme said that they were not going to go back to another LAN.
Yeah.
You know, and for them to come in top 8 community event is huge. I'm very proud of them, and you know, and also Fazaru is still keeping up there as well. So you know, some very notable names. I do wish we had Godly and Skeldra in there, but you know, of course, it is also a weekend event, and you have so many events on that weekend.
Yeah, we had a lot of events going on.
But yeah, 314 people playing is not bad for an EU event, so props to them. But you know, EU had some good events, but we also had Southeast Asia, which is our final region that happened this weekend, on top of our heads for Tier 1. And this was ran by NSIG, which is basically Sam with Contrast. And
Himway winning, that's, you know, that's typical. Keith and Himway and Grands, that's what I'd expect. So congrats to Himway taking this event. 3-1, straight up solid win. Looks like they didn't lose at all. Keith only got taken down by Himway to go right back to grand finals, and then they couldn't take it over. But I mean,
Sire got third though. That's
Sire
pretty good.
did get third.
He got
Serenity
pretty good because he got like 5th or 7th in the last event he played. So for him to get third, congrats to him. Serenity's in 4th. You know, Yorahara is putting some matches in there. Same thing with Vader. You know, that's good, man. I'm glad to see Vader and Yorahara come around. You still have Vortex coming in every so often, but you know, you also see new teams coming in. It's a very balanced version.
Yeah, but it looks like a typical top 8 for an NSIG event. But Himway taking that one over. Congrats.
Yeah.
And to kind of end up the video, we'll talk about a little bit about what's going on in the coming weeks. I think we do have something or 2 events going on this weekend. There's a buddy of mine that's running these weapon trial events where you have to play the weapon that you are assigned to. So like what the event is. So it's called the weapon trials. There's a gauntlet event this June 1st that you can play in. And then otherwise on June 2nd, if you are in the Canada area, if you know the player Koslix, he's running a LAN event in Toronto. I'll have links below for all of these events, of course. But I think that's pretty much all that's going on this weekend. And then later in June, we'll figure out all of the events that are going on throughout the month. But that's pretty much what the outlook is for this weekend, and that's more than likely what we'll be talking about next week in our recap.
Yeah, and the Toronto LAN, that's a big deal. I mean, I met with Koslix when I was in Toronto for a Call of Duty major, and you know, he's very keen on the idea of having these consistently. So the more support there is for him, the more he's going to do. And I think it's going to be a really cool idea. It's going to be Canada's first LAN in a while. So that's a pretty big deal. But with that being said, though, is there anything else you want to say before we go and hop on out for today?
No, I mean, that was pretty much it. Congrats to all the players in the Royales and everybody over the massive community tournament weekend. They're always huge, so make sure you get yourself involved in those community tournament weekends anytime we talk about them, because they're always great events. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
So we'll see you guys next time.
All right, we'll see you guys on the flip side. Appreciate you guys. Have a great day, guys. Peace.
See ya!